You're listening to the Ecosystem Approach show. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio.
We discovered that human potential is severely limited when you program humans like a machine, which is standard practice today for self-improvement.
The ecosystem approach teaches you how to uncover your infinite potential by using natural methods that are truly revolutionary. Join us now for the Ecosystem Approach show. Is it time for a reset? Today, we're going to talk about how you can do a personal reset to help create a reset for the world. This is the Ecosystem Approach show. I'm Patricia, and I'm here with my husband, Jason. We use an ecosystem approach to you, which is much different than what you are commonly taught. We see human beings as ecosystems that need to be uncovered instead of programmed. Human potential becomes infinite with our ecosystem approach. Everyone can see, or at least I hope everyone can see, that the world needs a reset, Jason. Many people are thinking they need a reset too. Okay, every year people, organizations, governments reset, but it doesn't seem like there's, any change. How can we really do a reset?
We keep doing the same things over and over again, expecting different results.
Well, wait a minute. That's the definition of insanity, right?
Yes, it is. And if you really want to reset, what we have to do is change the energy.
Of course we do. Yes, yes.
If I've heard so many that they've started already on TV and whatnot about how to do resolutions
and the diets and all
new
of it.
habits
Yes.
For the new year.
Yes, new habits.
They're all programming. In other words,
yes.
just do this and this. They're formulas.
Strategies,
techniques.
Right.
But what we say is, if you really want to reset, here it is.
Yes.
Change the energy.
Right. And by the way, we actually know how to do that.
Well, exactly.
And we can help our audience do that.
We do that every week.
Yes.
If you tune in with us for the Ecosystem Approach show, we do it every week. We take some part of our life and we show you how to use energy when it comes to that. And we help you implement that change.
Okay.
Now, it's when we say use energy, we're talking about doing yoga for a week or meditating. Those are energetic practices.
Yes, they are.
But what we do, and what Patricia and I do all the time, is we use energy as a part of our life. I mean, we incorporate it into everything we do. Every choice that we make, every objective that we have, every challenge that we have, every bit of anger that we have.
Yes,
every issue that we have.
Yes,
it comes out and we change the energy.
Right.
That's our first. It's almost like our knee-jerk response now is to
it
change the energy.
And I admit, we've been practicing it for 20 years. I admit, Jason, but the bottom line is you and I both know, and other people that have been around us, they see the change.
Yes.
And the change has been for the positive. It's truly amazing.
A lot of people, they can see the energy that we have.
Right.
But
yeah.
they can't call it. They don't have any vocabulary.
Right.
For it.
Right. Well,
you're happy people, or you guys are very alive.
And I love being around you.
Or you're very youthful.
Yes. That kind of thing. But you know what, Jason, one of the things that you and I discovered when we started to work with the energy, we realized that you connect with your essence.
Yes.
And that was a huge thing. And that, of course, produced the show that we did, and the knowing that we have that we come in with 80% of negative energy. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. The Discovery show. And we're going to talk about that a little bit in the next segment, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the Discovery is, the Discovery, we have if you go to our website, theecosystemapproach.org, there's a whole section on the About section. You drop down menu, it's About, and there's a Discovery, and it's all about the negative energy that you already have.
Right.
When you're born, when you come into this world,
Right.
and
Well, wait a minute, Jason. You don't know me. You can't tell me I have 80% of negative energy. I was speaking as if, I was listening to the show. But the bottom line is yes, that's a generalization, but it is also, I'm sorry to say, it's the truth.
we've seen it to be consistent. No, we don't.
Not
It
80%
may
on the
not be
dot,
exactly
yes.
80,
And
80%.
sometimes we've seen it be even more.
Yes, we've seen a lot times being
Yes.
even more.
Right.
So, but here's the thing: when you start to work with energy,
Okay.
you start to work with your feelings,
Yes.
and you start to then connect with your essence.
Oh,
Some people
okay.
call it soul, we call it essence.
Right.
And your essence is part of your daily life. Your essence, you were designed so that every choice that you make, whether
Correct.
it's to have a short Starbucks or a big, I don't know what the different sizes are. She always orders for me. When she always says, you go do it. When we go
Yeah,
to the Starbucks,
exactly.
but she'll order for it. But to make those little choices, or even big choices, what's the most important thing for me to do today? Or if I'm not feeling, if I'm crabby or cranky,
Right.
or anxious, or any of that,
Right.
what do we do?
Well,
And so we get that information from our essence.
that's right. That's
And
right.
so and here's the thing: programming detaches us from essence. So it's the root cause of all the problems today. So if
Okay.
programming is the root cause of the pandemic, it interferes with fixing the pandemic, racial injustice, climate change, inability to work collectively to solve problems.
Right.
That all comes down to programming, because the reason we're butting heads like this is because one part is programmed to think a certain way, and other parts programmed to think a different way.
Well, and the other thing is that programming doesn't teach us at all how to handle, and we'll just talk about, climate change and the pandemic. There's no education in there for that at all.
What happens is when you're programmed, you numb out from
Yeah.
your essence. And your essence, here's the big thing, okay? Your essence has a connection to the collective. It knows that we're all connected. It
Yeah.
knows that we need to preserve the place that we live.
Yes.
We need to preserve our climate. We need to preserve our earth.
Right.
We need to it's just innate. We don't have to convince anybody of it.
Right.
These climate activists, things like this, and they talk about we have to get smart all of a sudden. Well, they want to program us to believe this, but we see as intuitives that if we remove the numbness,
Right.
and stop the programming,
Yes.
then we would just know.
Well,
we would just know.
Programming teaches us to take action to create positive energy. And you and I are saying, we start with changing the energy first, then take action.
When we change energy first and then take action, then it's like grease. It's like things happen. But when you program,
right,
what happens is that I don't care how I feel. I'm just going to do it.
Well, or I don't care how everybody else feels. I'm just going to do it.
Well, the best example I can think of offhand is doing a workout.
Okay.
Drive on. Well,
push, go, go.
I don't want to go. I don't want to work out today. Well, and maybe your body is saying, hey, I need to rest. I don't need to push myself.
Well, because you did the same thing yesterday. I mean, that's a good example of just push and go, go, go. And that push, go, go, go is machine-like thinking.
Yeah.
And that machine-like thinking, it doesn't serve us. So, give us some examples, Jason, of what we've been taught to.
We were just talking about this last night.
Okay.
I was an Army story, but she tolerates that really well. But so I was talking about how I was lucky. I left the Army because my first wife died, and I didn't have any other way to care for
your daughter.
Yeah. So I got out. I was after 6 years, but I probably would have been a lifer if it wasn't for that.
Yeah.
But I got out. But I realized now that we were talking about this. Things like military, you can be a fireman, policeman,
there you go,
those types of things.
Sure,
you have to be in shape to do those jobs,
right?
But they also beat you up because every morning we would do PT. It's called physical training. So we get in a formation, and um, and then we'd go and work out.
Right.
And it was based, the workout was based on whoever was leading the PT at the
At the
moment.
time.
You know,
Yeah. Okay.
you can't raise your hand and say, um,
I
my
don't.
essence says that I should probably, I need a little more sleep today. If I would have said that, I would eventually ended up in the brig, but
Yes, exactly.
I would have been
Exactly.
laughed,
Exactly.
laughed out of
Exactly. That's
the.
true. That's true.
And that's why the military and stuff like that was really hard on you physically, because even though it got you in shape on one hand,
It did.
it
Yes.
it didn't allow for rest.
Right.
Um, um, it was crazy busy, and then it was easy, and it's back
Right.
and forth.
Right.
Things that weren't really good for the body. Didn't let the body respond to the way it is.
Well, it basically said, you need to be a machine right now.
Yes,
You do not need to be human.
exactly.
So Jason, let's go back to the pandemic for just a moment. Deforestation. What do you mean by that?
The story of the pandemic in general is that the deforestation and the extinctions um, are the reason that there's the line between diseases of animals and diseases of humans are those diseases of animals are crossing
They're
over
crossing over
because that barrier is no longer in place. And
Oh, I
that's a
see.
big deal.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a
yeah.
huge deal. And so when our essence knows innately about ecology and to take care
Yeah.
of itself,
Right.
but when we program ourselves, we get to competition and greed. Competition
Yeah,
comes
yeah, yeah.
from programming, and it comes from our ego. So when we deny
Oh,
our essence,
yes.
our ego goes out of control
Sure.
and comes forward. So we're motivated by things that make us feel good, make us look better in the world, make us
Correct.
look
Right.
better than the guy next to us. All those things,
Sure.
as opposed to working from our essence, where we have this collective knowing that says, "Hey, we're all in this together. We're
Well,
all connected."
exactly. So, Jason, what are the key points of this segment?
The craziness this year is because we chose programming to solve problems.
Mm,
The negative effects of programming can be traced to all the world's ills and challenges.
okay.
Resetting to using essence to solve personal and collective problems is what we needed today.
Okay.
And the ecosystem approach teaches you how to work from essence instead of programming yourself. It's that simple.
In the next segment, we're going to talk about the best thing you can do to start making the change from programming to working with your essence. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about the best thing you can do to start making the change from programming to working from your essence. We use an ecosystem approach to you, which is much different than what you are commonly taught. We see human beings as ecosystems that need to be uncovered instead of programmed. Human potential becomes infinite with our ecosystem approach. Jason, what is the best way to start working from your essence?
If you take an energy approach to your life,
Oh,
you can start observing energy, changing energy,
mm-hmm.
and use energy for everything. So, in other words, everything that you do
Mm-hmm.
it's what's the energy, what's
Okay.
going on energetically
Okay.
around us,
Okay.
and then change that.
Okay.
If you're having a meeting at work, what's the energy? If
Mm.
you're asking your boss for a raise, what's the energy?
Exactly. Exactly. And here's an irony. Start simple. I don't know that we ever told this part of our beginning story, but when we started out, Jason discovered that I had the ability to see. And after we made up and I made him apologize on bended, I'm just kidding. Anyway, what would happen was we worked
She
in.
loves that story.
I do. Anyway, we would go have lunch every day that we could, if it wasn't raining, and of course it wasn't snowing in downtown San Francisco. But we would go and have lunch, and we would sit outside, and we would observe the people. It's not like there isn't thousands of people in San Francisco. And um, Jason would say, tell me about that person. Tell me what you see about the energy of that person. Tell me what you see about that person. And, that kind of thing. And I have to say, I was amazed even at myself because I could see the energy with great clarity. Now, I admit, when I started using the ecosystem approach, that clarity got even better.
Well, and it reminds me of a really good point about this.
Okay.
Is when we did that, we weren't saying, okay, let's figure out what that person had for breakfast.
No,
we weren't, we innately knew at that point is that what energy is that person carrying?
exactly.
So if they came to us, how could we help them remove it
exactly
so their life could be better?
It was and it was really, really cool. Now I do need to say, we never changed anybody's energy that didn't ask us for help. We never did that. We were just observing, which anybody can do. It's not
well in the ethics, the ethics about that.
Exactly.
It's if someone's in a crowd freaking out, that's affecting everybody else. We would change their energy.
That's a little bit different. That is not the same thing. But these people were going to and from, I'm going to say, lunch to the office, or office to lunch, or to meet friends, or shopping, or whatever they were doing.
The point is, we were observing the energy, and most people think that it's our intuition that's the most valuable.
Yes,
but it's really our ability to change that energy.
Exactly.
And it's not that we do it.
No,
we teach you guys to do it,
and that's what we're doing.
We're doing it in the last segment today. We're going to do it in the third segment. We're going to teach you how to do the clearing.
Exactly.
And so that you can be the guide of your own life, so that your essence can be the ultimate expert in your life, to tell you what to do, who to marry, what job to take.
Exactly. Or not to marry. Yeah.
Or not to marry.
Thank you very much. Yes. So, Jason, all of our shows talk about all sorts of topics, and showing people how to work with the energy in their daily life. This is what we're trying to talk about. This is the point we're trying to get across today.
Yes.
If you have a problem, or a challenge, or even an objective for your life, that reset thing we were just talking about, if you have a problem today, and you want to fix it now and in 2021, ask yourself what, Jason? What do you ask yourself?
So what's the energy?
Yeah.
So
what's the energy that's blocking me?
What's the energy that's blocking me? I saw something about how to create new habits for the new year. Okay?
Right.
That's like
10 easy steps.
That's like your fingernails on a chalkboard to me.
Yes.
It's just like, because to creating a new habit is some form of manipulation, force, trickery of your personality. What I would say is that clear the things that are blocking you, so that your essence could say, this is what you should be doing in 2021.
Or consider this.
Yes.
Or have you thought about that?
And if it's coming from your essence, chances are you don't need to make it a habit, quote unquote.
Yes.
It'll just do it. It'll not only will you do it naturally, you'll want to do it. You'll be motivated to do it.
It's pretty cool.
Yes.
The changes that,
this whole idea that you have to be motivated for anything is a reflection that you're not operating from your essence,
right?
But you're programming in, and you're coming from ego.
Well, and I'm going to say, right now is the time to actually start doing the ecosystem approach.
Exactly.
I can't even stress enough to everyone the difference that it's made in my life, and the difference that I've seen and made in so many other people's lives. It's pretty incredible.
If you're going to change or decide to do a reset, the best thing you can do is just commit to doing the ecosystem approach. Listen to our show every week. It's a different topic, but it's always about using energy as making that central part of your life.
Exactly. And, but there's one other thing. One of the things you need to start clearing today, of course, use the ecosystem approach. And then you need to start looking, and what'll happen is you will automatically start looking at the things going on in your life. And one of the questions you can ask, just start this today. Is that programming? Or did I do that from my heart or my essence? Yes. And so
let's review programming.
Okay.
Programming is when you force yourself to do something.
Okay.
New habit. Trick yourself. Do this, but tricking a lot of stuff self-help that says trick yourself, manipulate yourself, or
Right.
seduce yourself. In other words, give yourself a treat, a reward.
I like the treat part, but
it-
I want to be conscious of why I'm eating a treat as opposed to unconscious.
well, you shouldn't have to treat yourself like a child. If you're working from your essence,
Exactly.
you're fully adult
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
operating in the world in the way that you choose, as opposed to your ego. See, when you come from your ego,
Right.
chances are your essence doesn't want to do what your ego wants you to do, and
Yeah.
so there's a conflict.
Right.
So your ego, you said, I'm going to force my way.
Right.
That's why I'm off on a tangent here, but the best among us are not the leaders.
Well, and they shouldn't be the leaders or
Often the people who are rise to the top are the ones who use their ego to force their
gee,
will,
don't
not
get me started on that one.
upon
Okay.
themselves, but upon everybody else.
Okay. So Jason, do me a favor. Talk about the metaphor of the oil spill. When and I need to say this. When if you're listening to the show right now, this is a really good metaphor for your life and everybody else's life around you.
Understanding your essence.
Yes.
So the Exxon Valdez had an oil spill 20 years ago, I think.
Right.
I remember it. If you don't remember it, it's because you're just too young. But I'm glad you're listening anyways.
Exactly.
But we know that when there's an oil spill in an ecosystem, this was off the coast of Alaska, it's really devastating to that ecosystem. So they cleared it up. They cleared it up. They were cleaning it for months and months,
Right.
and there was a lot of
Actually,
oil
even
there.
years, but
And I
yes.
was just reading, so we used it for as an example a while back, that even now the ecosystem is not fully returned to itself.
After 20 years,
After 20
you
years.
find that to be so amazing.
So here's the point. Imagine your essence is like an ecosystem,
Mhm.
okay? And that the negative energy is like an oil spill.
Right.
When you program yourself, you're adding in oil to your own essence. And so when people grow up and age, and we're seeing this now with my mom, because we're taking care of my mom and getting really a lot of information about how people age and that sort of
Right.
thing.
We are.
But as they get older, they don't get better.
No.
They
They get
become
more crabby and more
bitter
stubborn
and
and
angry
yes.
and difficult to deal with,
Yeah.
and all those things. And we see it. The best among us should be the oldest among us, because if you've been clearing your ecosystem,
Well,
you're wise,
we
you have
were
wisdom,
we
knowledge,
exactly, but
insights.
we were trained. I remember thinking that my grandmother that she knew everything. And the truth is, my grandmother didn't know anything other than what she read in a book. She read constantly. That was her entertainment. That's what she did. But my point being that there was things that she knew, but they weren't practical. They weren't about living in life.
The point is that if you are constantly working on your ecosystem
Mm-hmm.
and removing the oil as opposed to getting rid of the oil,
Right.
then that's the key, and that's what we're trying to say in this whole segment.
Right. So, Jason, what are the key points of this show?
Approaching
This,
your
I'm sorry, this segment.
approaching your life, considering the energy of every situation, is life changing.
Yes.
And programming creates negative energy and is like adding oil to your oil spill in your ecosystem.
Yeah.
Every life situation, you can perceive the energy that is blocking you and then remove it.
Okay.
And the ecosystem approach teaches you to live in an energy world, which it is, to perceive and then remove the energies that block you.
Right. In the next segment, we're going to talk about the most important question to ask yourself and why it's really a difficult question. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. You're listening to and actually watching the video for Transformation Talk Radio.
Yes.
This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about the most important question to ask yourself and why it's a really difficult question. We use an ecosystem approach to you, which is much different than what you are commonly taught. We see human beings as ecosystems that need to be uncovered instead of programmed. Human potential becomes infinite with our ecosystem approach. Okay, Jason, what is the most important question you can ask yourself as you live your life? What is that?
The most important question, you ready for this? It's what is the best option or path or alternative for me?
Okay.
It's
Okay.
always make it personal. And when you listen to advice,
Wait a minute. You don't mean take it personal. You
yes,
mean make
make
it
it personal.
personal. Okay.
When, and this time of year, there's so much advice, self-help, and
Yeah.
do this and
Yeah.
do that
Yeah.
and do
Yeah.
that. But it's never about you personally. So that advice
True.
is only good if it's about you personally. And I guarantee you, the person, the entity that knows what's the best for you,
Is
your essence.
there you go.
It's not me. It's
Okay.
not Patricia.
Right.
It's your essence.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
we help people a lot of times because sometimes we can talk to their essence a little more directly because they've been
Right.
so numbed out and bombarded with programming that they're
Yeah.
just like, oh, where do I start? Where which way is
Exactly.
up?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But the truth is that's where you get that information. Now here's the caveat.
Okay.
You have to ask that question using your essence, not your ego.
You need to explain that because I think there's a lot of people that don't know the difference
They don't know the
or they
difference.
don't know that there is a difference.
They don't know that there is a difference.
Okay.
I've got a lot of people, a lot of our clients have come to me
Mm-hmm.
and say, well, how do I know this isn't coming from my ego and this is coming
Mm-hmm.
from my essence,
Right.
and the question presumes that it's an either or. Usually
Ah.
there's some sort of proportion of both. But here's the thing, okay?
Okay.
Your ego is not coming from within. It's coming from understanding
It's
who you are in the world
by programming.
by programming.
Okay.
What makes you better, what makes you look good,
Right.
competition.
Right.
It's a very competitive
Yeah.
gamified
Yeah.
approach to the world to say, okay, is this going to
Exactly.
make me look good or better? Is this going to make me look better?
Right.
Your essence says, okay, what's the best thing for me?
Well, and I'm going to take that back to when I first started doing the clearing. And by the way, it was not near as good as it is today. But when I first started, I'll be honest, I was coming from a very ego-driven place of I have to get this right. I have to. And then I realized that was part of the problem why I wasn't getting the things that I needed in
Yes.
life. It was part of the problem. So
this comes from self-knowledge, and self-knowledge
right.
comes from uncovering who you are.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is start doing the ecosystem approach with us every week.
Well,
by doing the clearings, you start to uncover who you are.
Exactly.
And you get these little twinges of insight.
Yeah. And those twinges of insight, sometimes we don't think they mean anything at all, but in truth, oh, they truly do.
I have it's so
I know what he's going to say. That's why I'm chuckling. Okay.
I have a confession. We watch the Hallmark Channel.
We do.
And I'm confessing for Patricia, her favorite holiday movie is a Hallmark movie, which is The Most Wonderful Time of the Year.
Right.
And this is about
Henry Winkler is in it.
Yeah,
And I just love him.
It's a great movie.
Yes.
So most Hallmark love stories are basically this is the storyline.
The plot.
Yes. A girl falls in love with a guy who looks great on paper, and everybody, family loves her.
She thinks she's in love with the guy.
And then someone else comes up that is so unlike her, and she would never like, or maybe makes her mad or whatever.
Right.
And they fall in love, and then they eventually get together.
Right.
In this movie, in Patricia's Christmas movie,
right, exactly.
She's about to marry this guy who's great on paper. He's wealthy. He's well connected. He comes from a good family. And then her uncle, who's Henry Winkler, brings this guy home who he found sleeping in the airport, because the airport was socked in because of snow. And she thought he was a bum. He'd been all over the world. He'd done all these things.
Right.
He did a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this.
He did have some life experience, that's for sure.
Yes, and she just didn't get him at all. But then she found that he really had heart.
Yes. And what she had been looking for all along.
Yes.
But I have to say, it was the uncle, Henry Winkler, that pointed it out to her.
Yes. And so for all of you who watch the Hallmark Channel and other sappy movies like that, you don't just all of a sudden realize that you're operating from your ego and that this is what your heart wants.
Exactly.
It doesn't work that way. And even if you do realize it in a moment,
right?
Tomorrow, the next week, the next month, it'll go away.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
and the way to do that on a regular basis, to know what you're coming from your ego, coming from your essence,
Right.
is to do the ecosystem approach like we do. Make it part of
Exactly.
your life. If you're going to do a reset, the best thing you do is make the ecosystem approach part of your life and start clearing. You don't have to do it perfectly. You don't have to do it
Right.
like a machine.
Right.
Just start with us today, and
Exactly.
just say, I'm gonna listen next week at the same time,
Exactly.
and keep doing
Well, and
these.
if you can't listen, you can definitely go to our website, and
It's
which
always recorded.
it's always
You
recorded,
can
and
go
you
to
can
our Facebook page. You can see us. If you want to you want to see how we look in person,
right.
go to our Facebook page, because we're doing this Facebook Live. We haven't really said that, have we?
I don't think we have.
We're doing this Facebook Live, and if you go to our Facebook page, which is theecosystemapproach.org on Facebook,
Right.
you can see us, see the video.
Right.
But if you like to listen, I'm a listener. I'd rather listen to things. So I can do two things at once, like I'm walking or running or whatever. So you can do the audio still.
Yes, you
But
can.
if you want to see us like this is how we really
Right.
look,
Right.
So
Well, you know
and
what?
she's the attractive one, just so you know. But I'm she keeps me around anyway. So
For good reason, by the way.
remember, when you personalize your life and say, what's the best choice for
Yes.
me?
Yes.
It directs you to your essence. And then don't listen to conventional wisdom, because the guy you're supposed to marry, the job you're supposed to take,
Right.
the major you're supposed to have in college, whether you go to college or not.
Well, your dad wanted you to be an accountant.
Oh my gosh,
I got his,
I would have.
He's amazing with numbers, but I have to tell you,
that wouldn't have worked for me. But
No.
I still majored in business, and I still love certain aspects
well,
of
and
business.
you've even done some
We've done some shows
about
and we're going to do
business.
some more about
Yes,
that.
exactly.
But it's going to be about the energy of business,
Right.
and using from what I see as an intuitive, and how that works. So
okay, so Jason, what are the key points of this segment?
the best question you can ask yourself is, what is the best option for me?
Yes.
Then ask the question, and be careful not to allow your ego to answer.
Right.
Uncovering yourself using the ecosystem approach is the way to distinguish between your ego and essence.
Ooh, nice.
It's a process that takes a while.
Yes.
And the ecosystem approach teaches you to connect and access your essence in your daily life.
I love it. I love it. So, Jason, let's talk about how to, for those of the audience that don't know how to do the clearing, do the ecosystem approach, and then in the next segment we'll do
some clearing.
We'll do some clearing. So, go ahead.
So
get started.
You don't have to be reverent. You don't have to sit. You can slouch. You can lay down. You can stand up. You can actually do exercises while you're clearing. We do
all the time.
We do it clearing all the time.
Right.
So the posture really isn't important. But when we say "and to eliminate," in your mind's eye, in your imagination, gather that up to eliminate and blow it into, we say, a trash can. You can use imaginary trash can. You can use your actual trash can.
Right.
But what we're really doing is having you put it in that thing, which is Patricia painted. It's called the processor.
It's called the processor.
And what it does, it processes negative energy and creates neutral energy.
Which is, by the way, that is one of the most important things you or anybody else can do, not only for yourself, but for the entire environment. And
it's like clearing your oil spill in your ecosystem.
Exactly.
So it goes in the top and it comes out the front there. There's a little spout there in the front. So,
and if you want a really good picture of it, go to our website.
Yep, the ecosystemapproach.org. And you can go to, there's a picture, and you can download it and
exactly
put it on your desk if you want.
And I have to say, I gave one to a young man. He's definitely, well, he's grown up and he's in college. I gave him a picture more than 10 years ago, and he still uses it. Yeah. And that just amazes me. So then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to activate life force energy. We're going to, most powerful energy in the world. We're going to have it come in through the top of our head. We're going to let it go all the way down our body and our arms, clear down to the tips of our toes. We're going to stop it right there. We're going to turn it around. This is all in your mind's eye. And we're going to use that positive energy, life force energy, to remove more negative energy. Anything else,
I
Jason?
think we're good.
All right. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to help you create your own reset and do some clearing for the world to do what? Reset. Stay tuned. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to help you create your own reset and do some clearing for the world to reset as well. Jason, rock and roll. Here we go.
I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that a real reset comes from using energy.
Take a breath. Nice and easy.
Gather up those veils and illusions
and throw it in the trash can of the processor behind me.
And to eliminate the barrier so I can use this energy by clearing and uncovering myself.
Take a breath. And throw it in the processor. And to eliminate the anger, hate, rage, and bitterness that keeps me from my own reset. That's a big deal, everyone. Take a breath and pull that negative energy up from the tips of your toes and blow it out.
And to eliminate my fear of trusting that I can use energy to create change for myself, my circumstances, and my world. Take a breath.
And to eliminate the barriers so I can see that strategies and techniques do not change the energy enough, but the ecosystem approach does. Take a breath.
And to eliminate the barrier so I can see that I can reset by changing the energy of my own issues, challenges, objectives.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yes. Take a breath. Remove those barriers into the processor. And to eliminate the false belief that generic strategies will work for me, when the truth is not near as well as the ecosystem approach. Take a breath.
Okay, now we're going to do a little bit of clearing for the world to help the world reset. So that. In this, the way you picture it is, imagine you're a big hand going around the world, and like a globe, and then at the end there's a dumpster.
A great big dumpster that we can throw everybody's garbage in.
Yes, that's the top of the processor there. So
exactly.
Here we go.
Exactly.
And to eliminate the addiction that the world has to programming versus working from essence using energy.
Nice and easy, all the way around the world. And drop it in the trash can or the dumpster.
That's on top of the processor.
That's yes, absolutely. And to eliminate the stubbornness and ego that keeps us from seeing the need to change by using our essence. And that's how it's done.
Individually or collectively.
Exactly. Take a breath. And into the dumpster.
President like Biden is like, we need to, find the soul. We need to restore the soul of the United States.
Yes.
Well, I agree with them, except that nobody really knows
how to do
that.
Exactly.
They just think that's a nice thing to say.
We do. That's right.
And if you really want to restore the soul of the United States by starting first with yourself,
absolutely,
here's the way to do it.
Okay. And so then, and to eliminate, and this is for the world, and to eliminate the fear that any change will hurt me and the world, when the world is crying for change. Starting right now, take a breath, go all the way around the world, drop it in that dumpster.
So let's activate life force. Here we go. And to activate life force so I can have hope for a good reset by using energy and accessing my essence.
Yes.
Simple.
Nice and easy. Pull it in through the top of your head, all the way to the tips of your toes, turn it around and throw out any negative energy left over. Throw it in the processor or garbage can. And to activate life force so I can trust that I can work on the energy of my life and slowly change from programming and be able to deal with all of it, the change and the old programming. Nice and easy through the top of your head. And now blow out any negative energy. Jason?
and to activate life force so I can have the determination to make energy in essence the center of my life experience.
It's amazing. Take a breath. And one of my favorites, and to activate life force so I can be happy and healthy and have clarity, awareness, and objectivity, creativity, happiness, hope, fun, laughter, joy, and the ability to know that if I do the ecosystem approach every day, at least once a day, I can change my life. Nice and easy through the top of your head. Pull all of that in. Feel it all. It's a really good thing. And now blow up any negative energy. Jason, what are we going to talk about next week?
We're going to talk about predicting the future. Now,
Wait, I was going to be a smart guy. Okay.
So, spoiler alert, we're going to tell you right now, we don't ever do that because
Right.
it can't be done.
Right.
But when we've, of the 20 years that we've talked about being intuitive, we use different names to describe ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
People automatically think of people that work with energy or have this ability to use intuition in a high degree,
Right.
that they predict the future. The
True.
psychics and the
True.
crystal balls and all
True.
that.
True.
So we're going to talk about that with some unique and valuable insight.
Okay.
Because it's not that you can't predict anything. And we'll get to some of the philosophical things, like, do human beings have a destiny?
Okay.
Are you born
Okay.
to have a destiny? Are you going to fulfill that destiny? And can someone like us see what that is? And can you
By the way, that's a huge question that people ask me all the time.
And is it, can you create your own future?
Right.
And this is, we're going to talk about this. It'll be really fascinating. I think you'll really enjoy this show.
I know I will definitely enjoy it. So, Jason, why is the ecosystem approach so important to me personally?
If you want to do a reset, if we touched you today in some way, if you said, oh my gosh, what they're talking about, I get that. Ego versus essence, I want to work from my essence. Everybody that we've worked with, a lot of people that we've worked with have come to us, and we say, do you want to work from essence? They say, of course I do.
Well, but they also
but no one knows how to do it.
No,
we've been trained. You don't realize it. We're still realizing it after 20 years of doing this.
We're still dealing with the programming.
Yes.
Of all of that.
We're trying to take off the old effects of the programming that have hurt us.
Exactly.
And seeing, okay, well, we've been programmed to believe this, but that's not what our essence is saying. So how do we get rid of it? Well, it's an energy.
Right.
So we remove it.
Well, and I remember, I just have to say this. I remember a client said to me not very long ago, and this person has been working with me for a good, I'm going to say close to 15 years. The person said, that little voice in my head, or that voice in my head that was always there, I always thought it was because I was crazy. And so I didn't listen. And then when I started listening, I realized that this voice really had something amazing to say.
And of course, we want to say this is not black and white.
No,
but if you want to know when to listen to that little voice, what do you do? Well, you listen to our show every week.
Right.
This is how you do it.
Right.
It's not that simple. We don't do formulas, but we try and make it as simple as possible. Listen to our show every week.
Okay.
It's recorded, so if you can't make it at 1:00,
sure,
you can always listen to it later.
Right.
Go to our website, theecosystemapproach.org, and sign up for our weekly newsletter, which is also a clearing list. A lot of people say that take that clearing list, put it on their phone,
and they love it.
They do the clearings over and over. Do it as much as you can. It's cumulative. The more you clear, the more you uncover.
Correct.
And you can make it a part of your life. It's that simple.
Right.
And soon we're going to bring a subscription service where people can have access to us on a weekly basis, question and answer.
Right.
But it's going to be very, very reasonable, and that's coming soon.
Right.
But we'll let you know. But get on our mailing list. We never sell. We don't spam you. We only do it once a week.
Exactly.
And In the newsletter, I always tell the backstory of it. Sometimes
Often he tells secrets about
I
Patricia.
love to tell secrets about Patricia. I don't know what that is. I don't know, my
All
essence or
right.
my ego.
Yeah. Well, it could be a little bit of both. Jason, tell him about.
If you want to see us Facebook Live,
yes,
go to our Facebook page, theecosystemapproach.org.
right.
And if you want to connect with us, you can send us an email at hello@theecosystemapproach.org. When you're on our Facebook page, like us. We appreciate that. Let us know how you're doing.
You know, suggestions, ask us questions. We would love to talk to you. We truly would like, and we'd love to know what you think.
If you want to have a topic that you want to know about how to work with it in terms of energy, just let us know.
Exactly. So, and did we say everything?
Yeah,
all right, here we go. We'll connect next week, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern time. This is Transformation Talk Radio. You're listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia.
Remember, your ecosystem is the most important one in the world.
Thank you for listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. Tune in every week as we discuss practical ways to apply the ecosystem approach and develop your potential to live your life on your terms. For more information, visit our website at theecosystemapproach.org.